Hello and welcome to my first Matlab tutorial. In this tutorial we'll cover some Matlab basics. More specifically, we'll talk about scalar variables, vectors and matrices. So let's say I want to store in the variable a 3 times 2 plus 5. The syntax to do that would be a equals to 3 times 2, 5. And this would be the syntax to do that. So it will store in the workspace a variable named a with value 11, which is a computation of this, of course. Now, say I want to make a calculation of b equals to a squared plus 2a plus a divided by 4. This would be the syntax to do that, and again it stores me in the workspace a variable named b with the value of this computation. Now this pretty much covers the essentials of scalar variables in Matlab, and now I'll start to talk about vectors. So say that, for example, you want to store in the variable u a vector which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a five-dimensional vector with the first value being 1, the second 2, the third 3, 4, and 5. So to do that, you type brackets and you just type 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this will give me a row vector like this. I could also do the same if I typed u equals instead of using space, I could also use a comma. So, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brackets, and it will give me the same result. Now, let's say I wanted to, for some reason, transpose u. The command to do such thing is u dot and apostrophe. Okay. You can also do it without the dot, but that will also give you the conjugate if u was a complex vector. So if you just want the transpose of a vector, it's better to use dots and the apostrophe. And this will give me a column vector which is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as such. Now, there's another way I could define u, since u is equally spaced by just, one unit. So 1 to 2 is 1, 2 to 3 is 1, 3 to 4 is 1, 4 to 5 is 1. I could also use u equals to 1, double dots, and 5. And this will give me a line vector that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So now let's say I wanted to access what's in the third position of the vector u. To do that, I would type u, parentheses, and 3. And this will give me whatever is in the third position of u. So, in this case, u has 3 stored in its third position. Now, let's say that for another reason I wanted to access the third position and the fifth position. To do that, I would type u, parentheses, and another vector inside as an argument, and I type, the position 3 and 5. So 3, 5, it's a vector as an argument, and the output should be whatever is in the third position and whatever is in the fifth position. So in this case, it's 3 and 5. Again, the answer to that is 3, 5. It's another vector that has the components 3 and 5. Okay. As another note on vectors, let's say I wanted to create a vector that is spaced instead of 1 unit. I would want it to be spaced by, for example, 0.5 units. And spanning from 1 to 3. To do that, so that vector would actually be 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. Okay. To do that, I type 1, double dot again, 0.5, double dot again, 3. And that's the vector will give me 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. Now, say for example, I wanted to, instead of to get a vector, I wanted a matrix. So now I'll start to talk about matrices. And let's say, for example, we want to create a matrix that has 2 rows and 3 columns. In the first row, I'll have the vector 1, 2, 3, and in the second row, I'll have the vector 4, 5, 6. So, to create such a matrix, I type, well, pretty much how I would do a vector, but this time I'll type 1, 2, 3, semicolon, 4, 5, 6. And that will give me the following matrix. So, essentially the semicolon can be used to create another line. As a remark on the vectors, if I wanted to make a line vector, a column vector, I would type u equals to 1, semicolon 2, semicolon 3, and in this case it will create me some column vector. Now, back to matrix M. Let's say we wanted to access this position. Well, this position has the coordinate 2 in the second line and in the second row and in the third column. So I type 2, 3. So this is the row index and this is the column index. And that would give me the value that is stored here. Now I could also transpose this matrix, so M dot apostrophe would give me M transposed. And now let's say that I wanted to multiply the matrix M by the vector U. So U will be equal to, as I typed before, 1, 2, 3. So a line, and the matrix M has indeed 3 columns. So I'll just type M times U, and this will be the result. Okay, but now let's say I wanted to multiply M by the U transposed, so that should not be possible because M has 3 columns and U transposed would be just a row vector. So let's try to do that. And it will give me this result. And more specifically, it will tell me that I have the incorrect dimensions to use a matrix multiplication. And, well, that's exactly the error I'm getting. Now let's build a square matrix. So M, let's say 1, 2, 5, 7. 5, 7, right here. So say I want the inverse of this matrix. I can compute the inverse like this. So M to the power of -1, and it will also compute the inverse of that matrix. I can also square the matrix like so.
And this covers my first Matlab tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another tutorial.